Hello friends and enemies. It's been a while since we've looked at any of the Universal Monsters / Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles NECA figures, and this one just came in. Casey Jones as the Phantom. So we've gotten our turtles, minus Donatello, the best turtle. We've gotten our April. We've also gotten our Splinter, but we haven't opened that up yet. And now we've got our Casey Jones. So as you can see, the packaging is similar to that of the other figures in this line. Really cool illustration on the front, examples of other figures in the line on the side, and on the back, this graphic that's reminiscent of old horror posters. Who or what is it? The penalty box vigilante, slashing beneath the ice. Well, beneath the ice is just solid, right? If you're on an ice skating rink. I guess if you're on a lake or something that's frozen, it's water. Is he under the water? Thinking too hard about that one line. On the bottom, it kind of tells you what all comes in it. Removable cloak, skull, hockey sticks, interchangeable head and hands. No babies. When you open up the cover, it's Velcro. So it just gives you a nice little vignette into the inside. Now, those of you who are familiar with me and my channel know that I'm not a turtle fan. Well, it's not that I'm not a turtle fan, it's just not one of my favorite IPs, you know? It was kind of before and after my time. I was kind of in the middle there, like a lull between turtles. So I never got into it as a kid, but I like the figures in this line and I like the characters themselves, what I know about them. Casey Jones, I don't know much about though. He's a bit of an enigma to me, but that will only serve us better when we look at this spooky figure. You've got some creepy steps in the background. Why steps though? I don't know. Alright, looks like we've got some plastic to get through. He's kind of Barbie dolled in here. So not only am I kind of not very knowledgeable about Casey Jones, I'm also way out of the loop when it comes to hockey. So I'm guessing that we're looking at hockey from the waist down and Phantom of the Opera from the waist up, except for the hockey mask, of course. He's a little shiny in the face. Or mask. And it's not just the mask, but his hair too. It's shiny up there. I think it needs to be hit with some matte spray, probably. Because the rest of him is all matte, so it just kind of looks a little jarring to have it so shiny up here. I like this one button in the back. What's all that about? But yeah, of course, as we've seen, excellent sculpting. The monster design on him is a little lacking, but he is based on the Phantom of the Opera, who was basically just a dude who seems to have had an unfortunate accident and has been disfigured a little bit. A lot bit. So yeah, a lot like the April figure. We're skewing way more, I want to say humanoid with him, which is weird to say because the turtles obviously weren't humanoid. I guess I'm just saying that they chose a not very monstrous monster for him. And I guess that makes sense because he is human already, but you get a really wide variety of textures in this figure and they're all replicated really nicely. You can even see these holes in his socks. Really cool cleat pattern on the bottom. Some scrunkly texture on these, whatever these are, hockey pants. Listen, I don't know anything about sports, okay? And he's even got some more detail under here if you kind of push him back a little bit. He's got an extra button that's hidden by those high-waisted pants. Very spooky face with the eyes showing through. Very creepy. So before we get into accessories and everything like that, we're just going to take a quick look at the articulation. I imagine it'll be similar to April's. Some pretty good movement on the head there. His hair gets in the way of upward movement, but it's not that bad. Large ball joint at the shoulder, single elbow, twist and flex on wrist. That elbow also does get a swivel. Of course you got a nice twist at the waist. A little bit of crunch. You don't want to push it too hard because then the bottom of his shirt will pop out, but it is rubbery so it's not that hard to get it back in. Yeah, a tiny bit of movement there, but I wouldn't mess around too hard with that. Leg out to the side. This diaper piece is pretty rubbery, so you can get some good leg movement there. His butt is in the way, but I appreciate that he has a butt. Double knee. You've got a twist there as well. Pivot on the ankle and a little back and forth on there too. So yeah, pretty standard NECA articulation on this guy. I feel like I'm breezing through him way faster than I did on the other Universal Monsters Turtles figures, but that's because he's a little less involved. There's Still a lot going on, but not quite as much, and that extends over into our accessories as well. He's got this soft goods cape. It's very shiny. This part is made of plastic, so you don't want to force it over his head. You're going to have to take his head off, and we'll do that in a minute and put the cloak on. But it does have one hole for one arm to stick out of, so he can hold his weapons, which are hockey sticks. Not very menacing, honestly, but I have never been attacked with a hockey stick, so maybe they are scary in ways I don't know about. But the paintwork on these is really, I guess it sounds weird, but I want to say beautiful. They really just look and feel like real wood with tape wrapped around them. Really nice textures and paint there. And that's something we've been seeing for this entire line. So he has a mitt to go along with that. Very well sculpted, smooth textures. He also comes with a plethora of hands, some grippy hands, some graspy hands, and more grippy and graspy hands. And once again, I have no idea what this is called. It's another glove type thing, I guess for guarding or something. It's got a spooky face painted on it and some spikes on the end. It's a nice red to go along with the red parts of his costume, so it'll all kind of blend together. I feel like I'm a little out of my element with this figure since I don't really know much about Casey Jones or hockey or the Phantom of the Opera, really. And he will also come with a skull. Okay, and last but not least, are you serious? As I was saying, he also comes with a skull. And since I don't know anything about Phantom of the Opera, I can't really tell you the significance of this, except for it's a skull and it's spooky. But the paintwork on here is really fantastic. Gross yellow teeth, some modeling on the bone. This is an old skull. I do wish it were articulated, but that's not a deal breaker. And it comes with an insert, so you can use it as his head if you want or need to. I said last but not least, right? Didn't I? I don't remember what I said. But I was wrong, because he also comes with this alternate head with his mask damaged, and you can see his face underneath is all gross and mangled. He's not looking too happy. Still very shiny, though. I mean, I think the mangled part is supposed to be shiny. I'm not so sure about everything else. So let's put his cloak and stuff on him. I might need to hot water this up because, oh, it's a little rough. One arm through the cape. The plastic bit on top. It is not a snug fit. I will say that. If you put the skull on him, it is a little weird because his neck is still flesh colored. But I just wanted to try it out. Yeah, that looks good. To me, he looks much better. Much spookier and more imposing with the cloak. And I do like that it's got this one sleeve cut out, so this one can kind of wrap around and be spooky. There is a wire insert, but only at the hems on the front, not around the circumference. As always with these figures, be careful because the pegs on these are really long and the holes are very small, so you don't want to snap anything off, especially when it comes to something like this, where the peg is really deep in there. You need to be gentle. Also, this is not my figure, it is Patrick's, so I'm trying desperately not to break it. So as long as you're gentle, you shouldn't have too much of a problem. These are thin, so they slide in pretty easily, but they are thin, so be careful. The joint on this wrist is a little loose. Actually, it's a lot loose. It popped in, but now it's just like, meh, meh. Huh, so that's something to watch out for. But yeah, not as many accessories as the other figures in this line. Still a really cool looking figure, just not quite as impressive as some of the others. So here we are with some other figures in the line. We've got Frankenstein's monster Raph, Bride of Frankenstein April, and of course he fits in great with them. This is really a fun line. Like I said, I don't really have any skin in the Ninja Turtles game, but I really have been liking these. I do have some little nitpicks here and there, my main one being that I don't think April skewed monstrous enough. Like, they didn't even give her a screaming head. She looks cool, but she's still very pretty, you know? But yeah, this is a fantastic addition, I think. This is one of those toy lines where I think it's just extra cool to have the whole set, just seeing them all together. It adds something that a singular figure wouldn't have. Just seeing a bunch of figures with the whole theme, it's really cool and satisfying. This has been one that NECA has obviously put a lot of care into, and you can really see that reflected in the product. I wish they had done the same with The Last of Us Part 2 Joel and Ellie 2-pack. You can watch my review about that if you want. They're okay. It's just nowhere near the level of love and detail that these got. Thank you for watching. I hope this was helpful and informative. Likes and subscribes are very much appreciated. Comments are more than welcome. And I will see you guys on the next one.